Hey, what's up, y'all? How you guys doing today? I'm excited about today's workshop. Come on in the room. So I'm gonna request to join. Hey, Heaven. Hey, boo, hey. Hey, what's up? I am Queen Paris. We are so excited about today's workshop. Have a special treat for you guys. Hi.
Hi, Rosanna. How
Hi,
are you?
Selma. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Awesome. So are you excited? Because I'm excited. Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited.
Cool. Awesome. So I'm just going to hey, Mr. Kevin, let a couple of more people join the space. We're super excited for our poetry workshop today. I got my girl Sama with me. Yeah, we're about to get you guys to write some hotness for us. So we thought we could start off by checking in. I'm just gonna introduce myself real quick. My name is Miss Shauna Chanel, aka Smitty. I'm one of the lead teaching artists for Teens with a Purpose. I'm a poet, I'm a writer, I'm a mom, I'm a youth advocate. Some call me a stylista, whatever you may have it. I like clothes, y'all. I like clothes. Yeah, and I'm excited about today for this poetry workshop. Sam, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you, Aline. I see your comment in the chat. But my name is Salma. I am 17 years old. I am a writer, a poet, an activist, and a student. And my pronouns are she, her. And yeah, I'm really excited to be here today.
Cool. So what we're going to check in on for the people, because we do this thing called checking in at Teams for a Purpose. Whenever we go into a space, we like to check in and to feel how people are doing and to set the mood. So what are we checking in on today, Sama?
We're checking in on one thing that you do to hold space for others, which means like being there for someone, like to support them as they go through something or as they feel certain feelings. So what I do personally is to make sure I listen to them. I don't like give my input. I don't do anything like that unless they specifically ask me to. I just make sure I provide a listening ear until they ask me for any advice or any opinions.
Dope. Super dope. Awesome. So you stole mine.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to piggyback off of you and say that's what I do. I think I'm a really good listener. So one thing I like to do, especially when it's like somebody that's just coming to me with a problem, I don't want to feel like I always have to give them answers. Or even like they're asking for my opinion. I want them to know that I'm here to listen first and foremost and just allow them that room to breathe and to speak and to just be able to get whatever they have on their chest off their chest. So
Definitely.
I think that's very important. What do you guys do in the comments? What do you do to hold space for other people? Oh, someone said they're proud of you. Awesome. Awesome sauce. All right, so we're just going to get into it. As you guys leave comments, we'll read them off as we go along. So we're excited. Today is a live poetry. Oh, there go Miss Michelle. Hey, Miss Michelle. Hey, you want to read what she said, Sama?
Yeah. Miss Michelle says that she likes to offer encouragement and let others let the person see a different perspective towards the situation, and I think that's also a really good approach.
Definitely. Definitely. I feel like it's always important to encourage people, especially when they're going through a hard time. Hey, Mecca. And it's always great to see another person's point of view, because sometimes you only can see tunnel vision. You can only see what's in front of you. So it's always good to get other people's point of view. Relic said, I'm going to have to piggyback off of both of you. I like to offer an outside point of view for my friends' situations. Nice. Very nice. Cool. Hey, Emeka, what do you do to hold space for others, Emeka? Operation Elevation. So yeah, we're just gonna dive right into it. Happy New Year to everybody out there. I hope you guys are having a great start to your new year. Like I said, we're excited about this poetry workshop. And today's poetry workshop is basically gonna focusing on healing and just connection, basically, and how do we get back there. We've been doing this project with Miss Rita Cohen called OTU, Teams for Purpose Have, and we've been really trying to figure out how to heal from just racism and discrimination, and how to come together not only as African Americans living in this country, but Africans who are still in Africa and happen to come over here, and how we connect with one another through our trials and our traumas, because we feel like that's very important and we don't discuss that enough. So this workshop is predominantly going to focus on that, and we want you guys to give us as much love and as feedback as possible. So we're just going to go into it with our icebreaker, and our icebreaker for today is a few questions. And the few questions we had was, I'll give you the first one and Sam can give you the other one. What are some things you feel like you need healing from when it comes to like racism or discrimination? And Simon, you can answer that question.
I think one thing I would need healing from, and I'm still like learning to overcome, is like, you know, learning how to assert, you know, my voice and my space and my presence in certain spaces. You know, when you are discriminated against and when you're used to that type of treatment, you get used to like not speaking up for yourself, and you get used to like, you know, just, you know, you become desensitized to it. So that, I think that's the thing I'm trying to overcome, is to, you know, like actively take a stance against that and like assert my presence no matter what like other people in that space are trying to do.
Absolutely. Voice is powerful. And sometimes we feel like our voice isn't valued. And we have to make sure we acknowledge that it is, and we bring forth all that richness that we have to offer. I think that's very important. So you trying to reassert yourself is a beautiful thing. Heaven said, hey, I like to check in with people by challenging them to push them to achieving goals they set for themselves. Ooh, I love that one. Very nice. Very nice. Beautiful. Yeah, I really struggle with that. If I'm gonna be honest, I have goals, and I feel like, you know how you have a set of goals, but you meet the small ones and not necessarily the big ones. I feel like when it comes to the smaller things, I can easily like say, oh, okay, I can accomplish that, I can finish that. But sometimes my more bigger goals challenge me to really like reach in and dig in, and I struggle with completing them, if I'm being honest. So I need you, Heaven. I really could use you. As for the question we asked, what are some things you feel like you need healing from in regards to racism and relationships, and discrimination in relationships? I think for me, seeing so much bloodshed on social media, seeing a lot of innocent Black women and men being killed on social media has caused me to grieve a lot. And although I'm a little older, like I know this has been happening ever since I was young, social media has made it more relevant, you know, and you become you take on that secondhand trauma unknowingly, and it causes me to not trust people as much as I used to before. And unfortunately, it causes a lot of pain, and I want to distance myself from people where I didn't used to want to distance myself. So I think I need healing from just, I don't know, I just feel like sometimes we're not recognized for who we are. We're kind of labeled because of our skin color, and I guess want healing from that. Whether it's through like seeing people die by the hands of police officers, or just walking into a beauty supply store and being followed around because you're a Black female. Like, I just want to be okay with being Black and okay in this country, you know? So, yeah, I guess one people equal. Yeah. So those are the things I need healing from for sure. You want to ask the second question? You guys, please answer these questions too below. We would love to hear your answers.
So the second question would be, how have you personally been impacted by discrimination?
Me specifically, I can remember working at my old job. I'm not going to say where it was. And going natural, returning to my natural hair texture. And constantly hearing comments like, your hair is kind of big, it's in the way, asking me to pull it back, telling me it looked prettier when it's pulled back than when it's out and curly, having some of the kids make comments like, your hair looks crazy. Those types of things are heartbreaking because it's my hair. This is how it grows out of my head. So I noticed the difference between when I went natural and when I had a relaxer, how people treated me. And it wasn't a good look. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely like rough. I'm sorry that you had to go through that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. How about yourself? Have you witnessed any type of personal discrimination?
Yeah, I've encountered some, like especially because of my hijab and stuff, like, you know, people tend to have like a preconceived notion of who you are and what type of person you are, and it becomes like harder to make friends sometimes. And sometimes there was this one time that I was like at my old school, I was on the debate team, and we had this tournament, right? And I wasn't participating in the tournament, I was just watching. But there was this judge for the tournament, and he was asking like the people who were watching to, like, you know, help him, you know, with certain things. Like, he was asking us to like count how many times the people who were debating like were said, like, stuttered or said like the word or that kind of thing, so he could like use that as a judge for their, like, you know, the quality of their speeches. And
wow.
Yeah, he would also so I was just watching, and he was like friendly enough with everyone in the room. But then when he came to, and he knew my name, so like we all introduced ourselves in the beginning, and he knew my name. But when he came to address me, he was like, "Hey, Satan." So like instead of calling me by my name, he called me Satan, and I know for a fact that that was like racially motivated, or like,
are you serious? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. How dare he?
Yeah, and I had no idea how to respond to him. Like, back then I was like really naive, and I hadn't, like, you know, been in a situation like that before, and everyone else in the class was quiet. No one spoke up for me. And at that moment I realized that, well, not at that moment, but like after that happened and I kind of processed that, I realized that, like, if I don't speak up for myself, no one else will.
Come on, yes. Was this an adult? I'm just curious, or was this just another?
Yeah, it was a middle-aged white man.
Yo. Wow. Like, I instantly got teary. I'm so sorry. Like, that is crazy to think that he had the audacity to call you Satan.
Yeah.
Did he keep his job?
I never reported him. I didn't know what to do. I was so, you know, confused and overwhelmed by what happened that, like, you know, I didn't process what happened until like weeks and weeks after it happened. You know, I was still like kind of like shocked. So I didn't do anything.
Mind blown. I can't believe that we have people in this country who speak to children this way. Like, I can't believe in our classrooms with our kids. Woo! I got chills. We gonna have to change the topic. We gonna have to move on because I could be on this forever. But I am so sorry from the bottom of my heart. I am so sorry.
Thank you.
We have some comments talking about natural hair microaggression. That's what Antio Oak said. Antonio said. You want to read what Joanne said?
Yeah, Joanne mentioned being mocked for your accent. So, like an immigrant who is speaking English as a second language, being mocked for the way they pronounce English. So, I think that's a good point as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Antonio talking about like in the workplace and not being able to wear your hair a certain way is super microaggression. Like they'll say things, but they don't really want to say it out loud, so they'll just give out hints. It's definitely not cool. Somebody said, Joanne also said, I think comparing myself to people who were known as the beauty standard had a huge impact, especially with hair and facial features. Can totally relate to that. Yeah, as if our face has to be narrow and our hair has to be straight and our nose has to be small and all those things.
I can definitely relate with the nose part.
Definitely.
I have an ethnic nose, so like, with beauty standards, like they're super Eurocentric, and like there doesn't seem to be like a room for like other ethnic features, like in what's like considered beautiful.
Michelle says, Sama, you are light no matter what anyone says. I know that's right.
Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate it.
Sama's lucky she's not my child because I'd be looking for that person. I'm not even kidding. Y'all gonna have to bear with me because Miss Shauna is passionate. And I'm also a mom of 2 brown boys, and I just don't play. You don't come for my kids that way. So I take it very personal when I hear stories like this. Yes, I do. No shame in my game. I might have to ask you about that name. All right, so thank you guys for your comments. Keep them coming. We're gonna move right along. We have a list of things that we want you guys to think about in regards to going back to that relationship between Africans who are still living in Africa and just come over here, and African Americans who were born here, and even those who transition from other parts of the world and come here, and how we gather relationship from our different experiences or lack thereof relationship. Because sometimes I've heard Africans and African Americans not necessarily getting along, even though they're both of darker skin color. And I want to know why that is. So we're going to revisit that today. So if you have a pen and a piece of paper, this would be a great time to get it out, because we have a list of things that we wanted to ask you guys as like to get ready for our writing prompt. So one of the things we wanted to ask you guys was, name 5 ways you feel connected to Africa. And for the sake of time here, you guys can just put them in the chat. Give me 3, whatever you got. You guys only have a few seconds to write these down, because we don't want Instagram to kick us off. I do believe we have until 5:30.
Okay.
All right, so you guys have that one. 5 ways you feel connected to Africa. Sama, you want to read the next one?
Yeah, the next one is name 5 ways that you feel disconnected from Africa or from your place of origin in general.
Yes, definitely. I like that. From your place of origin. Name 5 ways you feel disconnected. And I'm going to give you guys a few moments to write that down. Mama D wrote, lost home culture, my features. Okay. So that's your connection, Mama D? I do believe that's her connection. What did Michelle say, Sama?
She says food, music, culture, traditions, and her melanin.
That's probably she feels connected. She feels connected. Beautiful. I love those. Thank you guys. I actually did this workshop with my husband yesterday, and one of the things we felt like really stood out about our connection to Africa was music, and fashion. Music and
So
fashion.
that's really cool.
Yeah, those are things
So
we
in what
agree.
way? Like, do you listen to like African music or?
I do listen to African music, but I just feel like rhythm within itself came from Africa. I feel like,
Right.
yeah, I feel like soul and rhythm and movement, all that is music for me. So I feel like that all came from Africa. And when it comes to like fashion, I just feel like with the clothes, the colors, and how you just embody what you wear, I feel like that strength and that strongness, that powerfulness that you see comes from African clothing. Like when we, it's not so much about you wearing the clothes wearing you, but you wearing the clothes, like how you represent yourself in the clothing that you're in. And I feel like that's depicted perfectly within African garb.
Right.
Antonio said his connection is features, his shared culture, his similarities. Nice. Yeah, I get that. I've recently, well, not recently, been like over a year, looked up like my places of origin where I'm supposed to be from, and one of them is Cameroon. So I started looking up women from the Cameroon, and a lot of them have high cheekbones. What about you? Have you noticed any similarities to the people from where you come from?
Myself.
Yes.
Um. I suppose my nose is one thing. Like that's it's on like it's definitely like more of an ethnic nose, like an Arab nose. I suppose you could say. Um. And I'm not sure. I didn't really like. I don't really know that much about specific features because like Arabs and Egyptians in general are very diverse in terms of like appearance. They're like we have all types of skin colors and all types of features. So yeah,
Cool. So you're
yeah,
from Egypt, is that correct?
yes.
Beautiful. Just to let the people out there know. Hi, Mr. Nathan. All right, so another question is for you guys to jot down. When was the last time you were expecting? And this one I thought was really, I'll read it and then I'll talk about it. When was the last time you were expecting racism or discrimination out of a situation, but it turned out differently from what you were expecting? People said disconnected. Antonio said he feels disconnected by culture, language, mythology. Um, Michelle said not knowing her ancestors from Africa. Cool. Yeah, I can relate to that. I don't think I've met any of my ancestors or know of any of my ancestors from Africa. So I specifically put that question in about when was the last time you went through a situation and you expected discrimination to come from it, but it turned out total opposite. Because I want us to recognize that not all of our experiences are negative, and um, when you do see that, how do you respond? Like when you recognize that something didn't turn out like you was expecting it to turn out, how does that make you feel? How do you respond? Have you had any of those experiences?
Yeah, I have. I think there have been people who like they they try to like they put in a genuine effort to like learn more about me and my culture and my religious beliefs and stuff like that. Um, One time, like earlier this year in my school, like we had a throwback like Thursday type of day where we like dressed up like in clothing of like past decades and stuff. and I thought I decided I'd have fun with it and like wear some like more traditional like Egyptian clothing, and it was kind of like it was kind of nerve-wracking at first because like I didn't know what people would expect, what people would say, and for the most part, like I mean, I had one person like openly gape at me, but other than that, like people were complimenting me on it, and like it was nice. So I think when things turn out like in a way I don't expect, I mean, sometimes it takes a moment for me to calibrate. Like it'll be like a moment of shock before I'm like, thank you, and I'm like, you know, really happy about it.
Yes, I totally agree. I totally agree. Now, for those of you who are just coming into the room, we're talking about the pain that sometimes come from like racism and discrimination and how we cope and how we deal with that. But the question I just asked was, have you ever experienced a time when you were expecting discrimination or you were expecting a disconnection from another race or culture, but it didn't turn out how you were expecting? Because we have to realize that not all of these situations are negative. Like sometimes they come out positive. And just like some you said, like we don't recognize it until after the fact. And you're like, wow, like they really didn't treat me how I thought they would have treated me. Can you guys relate to that? Have you had any experiences that are similar? I know for me, during the Christmas holiday, like right when we were shopping, me and my husband went out and he tried to return something and he waited too long, and it was in one of these big department stores, and it was like, well, no, you just can't get your refund, because he didn't have a receipt, so he just wanted to exchange. And it was like, well, you only get 20 days to exchange, 20, 30 days, something like that, and he was past the time. And when he went to go return it, the lady just was like, no, you just can't. And she wasn't even trying to hear him. Like, she was like, it's just no, you're just wasting your money. So he was like, man, like, what am I supposed to do? I can't fit this. What am I supposed to do? So he was like, I'm gonna go to another department in the store and ask somebody else. So he went to another department in the store and he said, hey, I really would like to exchange this. I don't have my receipt, but you can look it up through my card or whatever. And the lady was like, okay, well, let me see what I can do. And she was a Caucasian lady. And I just thought she was gonna flippantly say, oh, nope, nothing we can do. You guys got to deal with it, basically. And she was like, really? She said, I think I can do this. And she was like putting in the information on the computer or whatever. And she was like, oh, it's not letting me. But she was like, let me try again. And she started putting in the information on the computer again. She was like, man, I don't understand why it's not letting me do this. She was like, I'm going to get y'all money back. And I was like, looking at my husband like, why is she trying so hard? Like, like, this is different. Like the other lady upstairs is just like, no, there's nothing I can do. We were there for at least 15 minutes, and then she was like, I'm so sorry, I cannot figure this out. I don't know why it's not working. And we was like, okay, thank you for trying so hard. And we went to go walk away. Why did she call us back? And she said, you know what? I figured it out. And we ended up getting our money back. Like, she didn't even say you can use it to exchange stuff. She's just like, I'm gonna put it on a card for you guys, and you can just use it at another time. But we both walked away like, wow, everybody is not out to get you. Like, some people really do want to help you, and you just
Definitely
don't know it until you give them the opportunity to benefit of the doubt. So
yeah, that was really sweet of her.
I mean, she really spent a long time trying to give my husband his refund. And I guess that was beautiful. And it made me realize, like, we're more similar than we are different. And just because we have experiences and things, when people show us their ugly side, doesn't mean we have to be ugly. Doesn't mean we have to take their ugliness within ourselves and treat people the way they treat us, you know? And just give everybody
Definitely.
the benefit of the doubt, no matter what race or culture they come from. So it made me open myself up to understanding, like, not everybody's the same.
Right.
And I love how you shared that story about, like, coming in with your garb on and just feeling so accepted, and people, like, just love seeing you in your full self, even though you were nervous at first. Like, people really accepted it.
Yeah, that was a really nice experience, and I'm really happy that I actually like worked up the courage to do that in the first place.
Awesome. Very awesome. Do you think opportunities like this offer us the ability to heal in any way or to grow in any way?
Like like those moments, like you mean with like people? Definitely. I think I think it counteracts like the trauma or the negative experiences you've had from before, because I feel like positivity like it does trump over, like those negative things in the past, like in the end, like, you know, when you when you're so used to like negative experiences and and you kind of like come to expect it, when you have something different like that all of a sudden happen, I think, yeah, like it causes you to kind of like reflect on yourself and reflect on your mindset, and, you know, learn that, you know, that the world is not always as bad as it can seem sometimes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You better spit that. You better say that, Sama. Definitely. All right, so I think we should get into our writing prompt. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so before we do that, I'm gonna spit a little poem to give you guys some encouragement and just something to glean off of. Okay. This poem does not have a name. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. But one day I'm sure it will.
Yeah, that's me with my poems too.
Really?
Yeah, I can't, like, I sometimes I come up with either like it's either like the most basic name, or like, you know, I just don't give it a name in general.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that in my spirit. I so relate to that so well. And like people be like, "What's the name of that poem?" And I be like, trying to make up a poem on the spot, like name on the spot. Like I really don't have a name. All right. How do you muster up the courage to hope again when yesterday is all we have? To my sisters and brothers separated by slavery, divided by the tumble of oceans, distanced by time. Africa has missed the smell of lilies in your curls, replayed the stench of betrayal within each breeze. I call you my own, holding the remnants of unsaid goodbyes in arms wide open, hoping that one day you might find your way back in. To my sisters and brothers separated by slavery, uprooted from the rich soil of yams and planted in cotton fields, forced to journey upon polluted ships or jump amongst the waves to claim your freedom, I call you healer. See victory in your eyes. Colonizers will never know the true gems they've stolen, minds and spirits of endless resilience. They tried to crush your wound, but didn't know that God lives there. Grandmothers of wisdom singing Amazing Grace in all white gloves. Brown boy raised by single mom earning degrees from Harvard. Took land that once owned slaves and built a production company. Creating generations of young leaders, even with minimum opportunities. This will be your legacy. To my sisters and brothers separated by slavery, still fighting on the front line for equity. They wonder why you quit the term savage when everything you earned they tried to take. I call you warrior. I am not your enemy. Although I don't fight next to you, I fight with you. Though they tried to keep us apart by erasing your name, they could never erase your bloodline. You are the other half of black eyed peas and okra. Fierce like lion and deep like groundwater, carrying our stories in the arc of your feet. Our rhythms move through you like waves. Same cries of Mandela cut through King's throat. Africa was never just a place you came from, it's who you are. How do you muster up the courage to hope again when all you have was yesterday? You simply believe.
I love that.
Thank you so
That was
much.
amazing.
Oh,
I think my favorite line was that one, like, about Africa that you just said, like, Africa was never just a place you came from, it's who you are. That hit.
thank you so much. Thank you. I mean, we all came from there, right?
Yeah.
We all came from there, so ultimately, it lives within you. So, do you want to give them the writing prompt? Drum roll. Thank you, guys.
I do have my own poem that I can, you know, like, share real quick before
Hold
we.
on. Let me introduce.
Okay.
Coming to the stage, we have Youth Poet Laureate, One of the
Not
ghosts.
quite Laureate, but I hope to be.
Almost there. One of the young ghosts of
Okay.
our time.
History is in the beholder's eye, isn't it, my 4th of July? You sightsee. Watch the rocket's red glare as it soars across the sky. You cheer for the exploding fireworks, a kaleidoscope of everything you've ever dreamed of. And the dazzling colors drown out the screams of children across the sea. As an explosion devastates everything they've ever known, dreams submerged into the same blue ocean your ancestors sailed in 1492. History is written for the tyrants, isn't it, my 4th of July? Tell me how many unmarked graves mark the fate of the indigenous. How many millions of souls did you bargain for the sake of land expansion? How many native tongues did you cut so they couldn't speak against you? Against the lies that you feed to your school children, lodging in their throats till they can do nothing but regurgitate them. History is written for you, isn't it, my 4th of July? You defame and vandalize our narratives so you can erect monuments of your own, their structures now wobbling on top of stirring foundations, foundations built from the blood and sweat of your slaves. They are climbing, rising, manifesting. Yeah. We are manifesting the independence you claimed on our lands, manifesting the destiny you stole from us.
Yes, go in, poet.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. Manifesting the destiny you stole from us. Wow. So beautiful. So powerful.
Thank you.
That you once didn't want to speak. Speak how you felt. Never, ever tame your voice. Your voice is so beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Nathan.
Mr. Nathan said Douglas would be so proud. Yeah.
Thank you.
So powerful. Well, let the people know what grade you in, Sama.
I'm a high school senior.
So Sama is not one of the youth poet laureates. She was from the HRYP team. I know it was one of those.
Yeah.
From the HRYP team, which is the Hampton Roads Youth Poets. And she also went to Brave New Voices last year. And where did y'all play?
Yeah, our team placed third internationally. So that was really
super dope.
Yeah.
Don't downplay it. Don't downplay it. It's kind of awesome. It's kind of awesome.
Thank you.
Congrats. But we are, speaking of HRYP and Hampton Roads Youth Poet Laureate, we are accepting applications. Plug that. So if you are a young person between the ages of 14 and I do believe it's 19, we are accepting applications. Please apply. Hit us up at twpthemovement.org, or you can hit us up at info. I think it's info@twpthemovement. That's our email. Or you can hit me up personally at ShaunaChanel21@gmail.com, and I'll get that information right out to you. I sure will. So yeah, we love young poets. We love you guys speaking your truth, and we would love to hear you. All right, Summer, get into that writing prompt.
All right. So the writing prompt is to create a poem describing what it would take to heal from being separated from everything you have known and loved due to racism. So this can be like friends, family, or school, that kind of thing. And how might this experience impact your life?
Yes. So basically, we want you guys to write about what would it feel like to be separated from everything you know and love, and how would you bounce back from it? Like, what would you do? Like, I like to think of it as like, it's like a title. I see it going around social media sometimes, and it talks about your biggest flex. Like, what is your biggest flex? Like, what keeps you going, and how do you deal with the different things that come, the different negative things that come your way? So what would be your biggest flex in this instance? Write about it. You guys have, what time is it? It's 5:08. We're out of here at 5:30. We're going to give you guys 10 minutes. Give me at least 3 dope lines, you guys. Don't come out here telling myself my biggest flex is being me. Y'all can do better than that. I'm just saying. y'all can do better than that. Give us at least 3 lines. You don't have to be a poet. I don't want to hear, I'm not a poet, Miss Shauna. I don't write. Boo. You tell stories. We are natural storytellers. Give us 3 lines. Cool. I'm going to play some lo-fi music in the background. We do not own the rights to these songs. Please don't kick us off Instagram.
Wait, they can do that?
Oh, they do it all the time.
Oh, wow.
Can they? It's not that they can, it's that they would. No problem. So I had to put that out there. Don't kick us off. We want to hear the people poems. Instagram. How's school going?
Pretty good. I'm almost done with college applications, so that's fun. And yeah, I'm kind of like, you know, like trying to build like a better work ethic and, you know, better like time management like habit this year, because I've always struggled with that. And I think I'm doing pretty well so far.
Great. Awesome. You're a senior, right?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good for you. So I'm putting the writing prompt in here for you guys. So it's how would you bounce back from being separated from everything you know and love? Due to racism or discrimination. Hi, Jasmine Renee. How long have you been writing, Sama?
I've been writing since I was in preschool, actually. Like I started writing stories and like drawing like picture books and stuff like that. And you know, like it just evolved throughout like my life. And like I think my favorite type of writing is poetry, and that's what I do the most now.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Preschool.
How long have you been writing, Miss Shauna?
I've been writing poetry since 4th grade. And we're not going to talk about Miss Shauna's age. But for a really long time.
That's so cool though, because I'm sorry. Go ahead. Oh yeah, I was saying that's cool because I also started poetry specifically in 4th grade.
What? Stop it.
Yeah.
Yes, I was introduced to poetry from hearing Mother to Son by Langston Hughes. I think it was like my history teacher who shared the poem with us. And I was like, wow, people spoke like that? So I've been writing ever since. I think that's cool that you've been writing since you were in 4th grade. Well, writing poetry. Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, preschool, I wasn't thinking about writing. I was thinking about glue and Play-Doh. You're like way ahead of me. All right, so you guys have 5 more minutes? No, probably a little less. It's 5:13. We might give you guys 4 more minutes. Can you let them know the writing prompt one more time?
All right. So the writing prompt is describing what it would take to heal from being separated from everything you have known and loved due to racism. And this can be like friends or family or school. And how does this experience impact your life?
Yes. What would be your biggest flex? For sure. So in a situation like that, what do you think your biggest flex would be, Salma?
I think my biggest flex is just not being apologetic for who I am. Like, I mean, I've, you know, like how, that's something I've had to, you know, like consciously, you know, keep in mind, because a lot of the media rhetoric surrounding like Muslims and like Islam and like my religion and stuff like that, you know, kind of like, you know, attacks it attacks our beliefs and attacks like who we are. And you know, you kind of like at some point, like I felt like, you know, I had to justify, hey, like my religion is peaceful, or hey, I'm not a terrorist because of this and that. And then, you know, it was such like an exhausting way to live, you know. And then after some time, I kind of like just realized, like, hey, I don't need to apologize for who I am, and if anyone tries to make me, then they're not getting one from me.
Yeah, that's their problem. For sure.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's a beautiful thing to acknowledge that you're not the issue. They're the issue.
Right.
Yeah. I know that must have been difficult to get there, but you're there, and that's a beautiful thing. And you're there at such a young age. You know how many people still struggle with like identity and accepting themselves because of how society tries to label them. So I think that's a beautiful thing. For sure.
It's a lifelong struggle, so like I'm still it's definitely a work in progress, but I'm happy that I made what progress I've had so far.
Absolutely. Good for you.
Thank you.
Awesome. I feel that too. I feel like my biggest flex would be, I always feel like my biggest flex is not knowing how I'm going to get through something difficult, but just knowing that I will. Like never giving up. I think my perseverance and my ability to be resilient is what keeps me going. For sure.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I think that's definitely like the most important thing when you're like going through that type of struggle, you know, just knowing that like everything will be fine in the end.
Yep. I mean, you have to believe that, don't you?
Yeah.
It's so crazy if you think the other way. Joanna said her biggest flex is progress. Progress is progress. Beautiful. I love it. Progress is progress. Like one step at a time. We don't all have to take big, huge leaps. Just one step. Progress is progress. I love it.
Definitely.
All right, so it's about that time for us to share back. I hope you guys have some poems ready for us. Don't be afraid. Spit those bars. Hey, Bodacious Bay. Joanne. Is it Joanna or just Joanne?
It's Joanne.
Joanne, thank you for riding with us this whole time. We appreciate you.
Yeah, definitely. She's one of my best friends, so you know.
She really?
Like that was, yeah.
So would anybody like to share back? Ask to join us on the live. We will accept you in. Or you can just put it in the comment section and we'll read it off. Joanne. Yeah. Thank you, because I would mess up your name. All right. I'm going to give you guys a few more minutes to put in your poems. For those of you who are coming on here, just to let you know, we did a poetry workshop that focused on healing and healing from just racial traumas and discrimination. And we spoke about, thank you. And we spoke about some of the situations that really have hurt us in our past, and some of the situations that we were surprised didn't turn out exactly how we expected them to. and just how to use those moments to grow and to like spark seeds of healing. Um, and now we're writing about how would we, what's our biggest flex? Like, how would you get through a difficult time when it comes to like being separated from your everything you know and love due to discrimination or racism? How would you cope with that? So, hi, Purple Diva. Do you have another poem you would like to share, Sama? I don't see anything.
Yeah, I mean I have one that I wrote after George Floyd's death back in 2020. I could share some of that.
Would love to hear it. And I'm gonna see if I can pull up one as well.
The Theater's Haunted, Ma, by Phantoms. Phantoms are lurking everywhere in every corner, just out of the spotlight. We normally ignore them, but after today's rehearsal, I don't think we can anymore. They are hanging in the air, thick and dense like smoke dripping through the cracks in the wall. The air is heavy and I can't breathe.
Mm-hmm.
We can't breathe. We can't breathe. Remember when we hung up curtains of blue? They gleamed with self-righteous glints of gold. They gave their oath that they would protect us, and we trusted them. When we went to tread the boards today once more, we stood shocked at what we saw, the curtain strangling a man by the neck, hanging him off the rafters, the man's eyes closing. He cried, "I can't breathe, Mama." The masks on our faces couldn't conceal the horror. Blue curtains strangling his neck in the most chauvinistic chokehold, spotlight shining down on his purple face, and there were no longer glints of gold but rotten, moth-eaten holes in the fabric. And I can't help but wonder if they were always there. At the sight, we suddenly remembered all of the shots from before, underexposed with the hues of undeserved death row, building upon each other throughout history to the point that the memories are no longer pictures, but have become a long-winded video. The theater's haunted by phantoms, Ma. We let them in. And now they've possessed everything from the curtains to the entire theater, and we can't go back there anymore. We've set fire to it, Ma. Don't give me that face. Their children have been playing with fire for years. It's nothing new. None of this is. We're haunted by phantoms, Ma. We can't seem to fight them off, and some of us don't care, but sure as hell we can't ignore them like we used to.
Yes.
You've been a laid-back mom your entire life, Ma. Granting us all of the freedom we could ever want and more than we deserve. And in the midst of it all, you never taught us that freedom is useless when there's no humanity for it to serve.
Wow.
You are haunted by phantoms, Ma. Thank you.
Wow. So beautiful. Freedom is useless when there's no humanity for it to serve. I love it. Yes.
Thank you.
You know what I love about your poems? It's the imagery. Like, I feel like I'm in the poem, literally. Like, your imagery is so beautiful. It's so eye-opening. It's like an awakening.
Thank you.
Like, I really love it. Thank you.
That means a lot coming from you, Miss Shauna. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Simply beautiful. All right, so you guys had your time. I mean, Sama just came with the fire. I wouldn't want to come after her.
I mean, I think a couple of people have shared a few lines.
Oh, perfect. Let's read them. Go ahead, Sama.
Yeah, Miss Michelle says, I still rose up and brought you with me in my glow, in my veins, in my food, and in my dance. Forever in me, Africa.
Beautiful. Oh, I see at the top too, she wrote, when I was ripped from your arms, my heart cried out. Mashed into pieces like plantains in a palette, mushed together with spice, love, rhythm, and heart. Wow, that's beautiful, Miss Michelle. Mr. Nathan said he sent me a short poem on Messenger. Let me see. Can I get to it? Come on, computer. I'm excited. Somebody said, is this DM poetry? I got some work. What's DM poetry? this Mama and Shauna Chanel poetry. Hampton Roads, baby. All right, so yes, I see it, Mr. Nathan. Mr. Nathan poem says, leaving home with no direction. Do try to put a man on Mars without a person of color on the spaceship. The ordinary astronaut will never get back. Only the melanin man has the instinct to trace his way back to the source. Only the Wakanda woman has enough rice in her hair to keep the crew from starving. Mother Africa is the only beacon capable of reaching the outer limits of this galaxy. First man on Earth is the last man standing in the entire universe. Wow.
That was amazing, Mr. Nathan.
Yes. You said so much in so little words. Wow. I love the.
I think someone.
Go ahead.
Oh, there was someone who was saying that they wanted to share a poem as well. From Mr. Witz or Mr. Witz.
Actually, join the live. I love the line about only the Wakanda woman has enough rice in her hair to keep the crew from starving. Isn't that just like a woman? We use whatever we have. Whatever we have to feed. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, Mr. Nathan. All the bombs. Just right. All the emojis. Put them in there. Who wanted to share their poem? Can you request to join us? We would love to have you. Who was that said they wanted to share, Sama? I don't see it.
Oh, it was a little bit above the most recent comments. It was Mr. Witz, and I think he asked. Oh, he asked if you can send the poem, like for you to read out loud.
Hey, what's up?
Somewhere. Hello, ladies. How y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. How are you, sir?
Good. I hope I wasn't confusing y'all with my questions. There's a couple of lives that go on usually during the day, some in the evening, and they take DM requests. So like people can send their poems and they read the poems. You know, and that's what I thought you were doing, because I heard you mentioning a couple of heard you mention someone's name and say, well, this came from some such and such, and then you read the poem. So that's why I asked, was this that sort of live?
Oh, he just couldn't read at the time. He was sending me his poem. Spit it for him. But we would like to have you spit anything that you have.
Yeah, I got you. That's dope. Can y'all hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Yep.
Could you imagine being innocent, charged and found guilty by a prosecution that wants to take away your life, and your best news comes when your lawyer tells you you're not at risk of being executed within the next year? Could you imagine the fix? A breath flowing through your lungs at the sound of another 365 days as you look in the face of the man the law firm has sent out to reevaluate your case. You can only hope he's genuine in his fight for your freedom when it seems no one is there to be in your corner because you're already guilty in a systematic eye, which is the very reason you were incarcerated in the first place. And his words are as fancy as his designer suit, leaving you to question whose side he is on. Knowing the only suit they want to see a black man in is the one issued by a correctional facility. Will he believe you when you tell him you really didn't do it? Are you guilty to proving innocent in his eyes as well? Because you know some lawyers will trade your innocence for a not guilty verdict in a future case. Just imagine waking up with a throat full of rocks, like someone had funneled gravel down your throat, with your heart racing your mind like an Olympic tryout, leaving you to question which organ will give first. But none of this matters. All things considered, your life expectancy has been given a due date, final meal, final song to accompany the emotion, yet you fight back the tears of being wrongfully accused as the guard buzzes in and the cell locks open. The jingle of his shackles sound just like slavery. Then they handcuff your wrists along with your ankles to deliver you down this long hallway. 2 guards on your back like a means to escape. If they're brave, what are you staring death in the face? The stench of injustice is the paint on the walls, and it's all in your clothes like a smell you can taste. See, it pains beyond restraint when you're made to be the fall guy. Melanin backdrop like a sheet of bullseyes, like your skin has conspired with everything unlawful, and it's nothing you can say to get this targeting off you. As you sit across from this lawyer, it's hard to speak to him because he's all of the reminder of how it will all end. So your anger reappears in the wrinkle of your forehead, and his sympathetic friendship is lost in his grin. Then the CO crashes in, eager to gift you with his bracelets and deliver you home, meaning back to yourself. You can't help but feel helpless to the prejudiced remand of your spirit and body as your eyes start to swell. You can only look back at him like you have nothing to lose and pray that his next visit will bring better news. But you and I know better than to count on his ethics when it was one of his colleagues who had written this sentence. Could you imagine being innocent?
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Spit that, poet. Mr.
Thank you.
You did
Thank
that,
you,
sir.
ladies.
Thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
us. I love that. That piece was so powerful.
Indeed,
It really was. I love the imagery.
Yes.
I appreciate it. Can I do one more for you?
Yes, sure. We would
Of
love
course.
It was a lifetime ago. I remember it like the last day. Playing with my little sister in the yard was the most we can do back then because wandering too far from home was as dangerous as lambs straying away from the ewe. It was a lifetime ago. I remember it like the last day. The last time me and sister played. The first time the neighbor's daughters approached us, 14 years of age, when they asked me, do I know where they can find some flowers? Although I told them I didn't know, that wouldn't stop their search. They said they knew was somewhere, down by the train tracks. That's what they told us as we headed to our home. That night, we got a visit, an urgent knock at the door. 2 young white girls had reportedly gone missing. I told Dad I had seen 2 girls earlier in the day, where they said they were headed. My father, skipping supper after a long day's work, set out to help find the missing girls. It never crossed his mind that skipping a meal meant he may never get to break bread with his son again. The next morning, another visit. 2 white police officers. Mom was visiting her sister while Dad was at work. To their serendipity, for it was me they wanted to talk to. They told me they found her, the missing girl, right where I said they would be. I had no bearing on the weight of their words at the time. I asked if they were okay. One said they were dead, both poked in the head with a railroad spike. You're in a lot of trouble, he told me. The racism in his eyes stabbed at my life from the moment they arrived. Rushed to the ground, they handcuffed me, took me to the jailhouse, charged me double homicide. I remember it like the last day. The last time 14 was considered a youthful age.
Wow.
81 days later, in a trial by jury, the officers insisted I confess the crime to them. My parents, threatened by an angry mob seeking vengeance, weren't even allowed to be in the courtroom. After a 3-hour trial, I was found guilty. The all-white jury deliberated for a lengthy 10 minutes before sentencing me to execution by electric chair, scheduled for that very same day, when they couldn't strap me in the chair properly. They decided the Bible I was carrying would make for good leverage. My family had not seen me till my deceased body, charred from Old Smoky, was placed in open coffin. 70 years after this lawful injustice that took away my life was cleared, an exoneration. If only they could reverse my death like them charges. I remember it like the last day. The last time 14 years of age was innocent.
Wow.
Yeah. You're right here.
Jeez. Thank you
So,
so much. We appreciate you.
You're welcome.
it's a pleasure.
You must come back again. Bob's open mic every Wednesday through Teams with a Purpose. So we would love to have you again. Thank you so much. Much love.
Big
Thank you.
love. Continue doing your thing, ladies. I appreciate the energy in the room.
Thank you.
Wow, that was powerful.
Yeah, that really was. I have no words, to be honest, especially after that second poem.
Me. My mouth was open. Wow, that was crazy. That's what I talk about when I say storytelling. Our storytelling abilities are out there, like
Yeah, they're amazing.
magical. Whew, that was heavy. That was heavy. It's so raw. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for being with us today. This was powerful. Wow. I hope you guys enjoyed this workshop. Thank you, Sama, for hanging in here with me, for being my co-host, for spitting those bars and all of the above. I really appreciate you. I had so much fun. Tomorrow, I'm sure we're doing something virtually through TWP. I guess I'm just not sure what that something is, so I'll have to get back to you. Check us out at TWP The Movement for all upcoming events, and we will talk to you guys soon. Check out our IG and our Facebook page for more information as well. It's like for upcoming events, things that we have going on. Like I said, if you're interested in being a Youth Poet Laureate, we are now taking applications. Anything you got going on with you, Soma? Any events or anything you're taking part in?
No. I'm a bit busy with school these days, but yeah, I'm really happy for with what we did today, and I think we had a really productive conversation, and there a lot of great poetry and writing was shared. So
absolutely.
I'm really inspired right now.
So am I. Super. So Anyway, thank you guys. Have a good night. Talk to you later. Bye.
Good night, everyone. Bye.
Bye.